time now. I'm like, the teacher, take that time out.
God,
Yes,
baby.
we are. Yes, we are. Listen, we are live here yet again. Thank you guys so much. Listen, for tuning in to our earlier broadcast. Oh my God, God is just blowing my mind today. And now what? We have another treat. Uh, I met this young lady through Bella. This is Miss Robin F. David. Now, people say, okay, well, you're a motivational speaker. You are, what else? What else?
Coach.
Coach, all of this good stuff, all of this good stuff. And people go, okay, well, I can do that. People fail to realize, just like this show says, honey, you got to be tried first. You got to be tested second. And you got to know, you know what? Through God, I conquered that it. It did not conquer me. Welcome to OPNS, Tried, Tested, Conquered. Robin, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you, OPNS for allowing me to be here today. Thank you. I am so excited to be here. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. When I heard your story, I always tell my viewers, my listeners, my followers, I believe that our pain pushes us into our purpose. And, I know that you're doing so many awesome things here present, but there was some pain that had to take place in order to push you into your purpose. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. There was. Yes.
Yeah. So I want to read about who you are. And then I'm going to pass the torch to Miss Bella. We're going to talk about that pain. And then we're going to build from there. Okay?
Okay.
Robin F. David is a speaker, coach, and best-selling author. You better get it with the best-selling. And the founder of Golden Foundation. Robin has expertise in areas of leadership development, public speaking, and coaching. You started your business over 20 years ago in the beauty industry as a nail tech. Well, ma'am, you just wear 30 hats. Amen, Jesus. As an educator for a major beauty industry manufacturer. This led to freelance educated career in the beauty industry, which took her on her journey of women's holistic healing of mind, body, and spirit. Come on with the holistic.
Come on.
Welcome to OPNS, Robin F. David. Thank you so very much. Bella, let's jump right on in this interview.
Robin, you know how we go. I like to say a lot of the listening audience have not heard the original first interview. So why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
I'll be happy to. Thank you again, OPNS, for allowing me to share my story with you all. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am the oldest of two. My parents were young parents who had me, and their young age were married and separated. So then I, as a kid, had to just grow up and learn how to process life the best way I could. And what I realized when I look back over my life, I kind of was like, I always go to the story of the eyes. Dorothy, how she was trying to just look for home, right? She was just trying to find her home in this world of we call life. And for me, it was, being born to Prince Sane and Barbara Jenkins. I love to honor my parents because I couldn't be who I am today. And in their experience of having me, I grew up, just like I said, not really understanding how to manage my emotions and just trying to live life on the surface. Like we're told, society tells us to, grow up, get out of school, get married, start your career. So that's how I kind of followed that. But I also knew underneath that, following what society wanted me to do, there was something greater within. I always had a desire to do self-development. I have always been one who read Napoleon Hill books and things like that. So it's always I always found myself looking at self-help books. And then being born again, as a born again believer and Christ-like, I knew that there was a portion that I had to be responsible for, and God and I had this personal relationship really young in my life. And at the time, I was just really just fighting to find that. And so doing those things to look like I was reaching success, but there was a whole lot of things within me that wasn't cultivated, wasn't healed, it wasn't dealt with. And so that's why I use the Dorothy Wizard of Oz, because you're looking for certain things, but all the things we're looking for on the external or trying to reach because society says so, we haven't dealt with a lot of in work. And so I had to do a lot of life work. I had to do a lot of life work, and I reached out to a lot of mentors. I have a lot of great mentors in my own life who literally coached me and allowed me to evolve, and they believed in me until I could believe in myself.
I like what you said. I always use this analogy. We can beautifully paint the outside and trying to cover up the jacked upness. I know that's not a word, but it's my word. The jacked upness on the inside, and if we're not careful, that will bleed to the outside. A lot of people, it's like you don't realize why you're walking around with a unit on your face, or you don't realize why you're snapping at everybody. Everybody else is smiling, and you're snapping. It's because of that brokenness that we strive. Oh God, we work overtime to hide the inner brokenness. I want to be able to. You have a story. We all have a story. And our pain pushes us to our purpose. Now, with everything that you do, and I'm gonna read this second one here, then I want you to, let's talk about that pain, where this thing started for you to have this drive and this passion to see this assignment that God has given you, to see it out. It says that you are a trailblazer when it comes to women learning self-care and self-love, that you call it the sacred balance. I like that, which helps women of all ages discover their inner beauty. Robin is elated that you have been guided to her website, where she's going to continue to inspire and educate about complete emotional healing and inner transformations. Okay, so all of this, you are putting yourself on the forefront to be the thing that the broken women, the broken people that may come across your path, their brokenness, you're putting yourself out there to be the voice of reason, the voice of, you know what I'm saying? Okay, wake up, you've been sleeping long enough. What was the starting point for you? What was that pain that catapulted you into this purpose?
In 2015, I am a mother of 5 amazing, great children that I was blessed to have. But one of my sons was shot on May the 3rd, 2015. And at that point, I was feeling like life was unfolding successfully. I've been married to my high school husband at the time, we have been married of almost 32 years to recently. I'm recently divorced. But at that point, my ex-husband and I had just decided in April of that month, a month before that, we had decided that we wanted to go our ways, and we were okay with it. So that was very painful, because I realized I've been married and believe in God for this to death do apart marriage, and that kind of, he abandoned me in that, and I was abandoned in that, and I was like, whoa. So that was in April, and then 30 days later, we lost Willie. And I always say we lost Willie because I always feel like Willie wasn't just mine. He was a gift to everyone, but he was my son, and that was very personal. So I then realized the day that we lost Willie, I had went to church twice that day. And I went to church, to my home church that morning, and I had a blessed day, which I'll, talk about that in my book here, where I talk about the story on the day that we lost Willie. So it was a beautiful sunny day. I went to church that morning. I was a part of the Red Hatters, so I had to function that afternoon to dress out and go to my Red Hatter event. So at that point, I'm thinking life was coming together. I had my first becoming a bestseller with Amazon was with this anthology I wrote. So I had the contract all together, and I was talking to my son that day in between church. I came home, and he and I were all talking, and he was about to graduate, and Mother's Day was coming up, and my youngest, she was ready to graduate early. So life just felt really good, like right in that moment on May the 3rd. I was like, things are coming together, and my book is coming out. I said, kids, y'all growing up. So I was just feeling good. And when, I was going to handle the, fact that me and my ex-husband had decided it's okay that we're going to divorce. It's okay. So it was painful, but it was okay. I said, okay. But then when both of that happened, within 30 days, I really was asking God. Like when I woke up the next day after we lost Willie, God literally spoke to me, and he was saying to me, he was like, you can either stay in this pain, Robin, or you can choose to wake up. You did say the key word, to wake up. And I literally, after leaving my son laying there with no breath, remember I talk about the breath of life. So when I seen our youngest son laying there with no breath, and God asked me the next morning, because see, people are going to be there that hour for that experience. But the next morning, it was he and I, God and I, when I opened my eyes. And he said, he showed me, if you're in the hospital, you see that line that goes straight out like this. He said, you can either choose to flatline or you can choose to wake up. And I was like,
Robin, that's good.
Yeah, when I seen that, he gave that to me in my vision. And I was like, Father, he's like, yeah, so which one do you choose? And I said, I'm waking up. I'm waking up, Dad. And I was like, Father, I'm waking up. I'm waking up. I choose to wake up. And then that's when I had to look at all the pain. How did you get here? How did you get here? And that literally is stages of handling grief. And of course, you're angry when you first experience grief like that and have to wake up. You have to wake up to people calling you and people saying, how are you doing? Emailing you. And I had to wake up. But that moment I knew that my pain was greater. My purpose was greater than my pain. And Willie was a tool, him and my ex-husband was a tool to let me feel the pain and sit in the pain with God and literally let God start to show me how much he loved me and how it's important to move through it by healing and accepting his love. Now, it was stages in grief. There are stages in grief. And those stages are real. You got to go through
Maybe
those.
okay, there we go. Okay, Robin, we had some technical difficulties there where everything went out. Go ahead, baby. Pick up where you left off.
So with that, I woke up. I had to wake up. And that's a decision. That's a conscious decision, being and just feeling all the pain. So there's anger. You go through stages of grief. That I was angry.
Yes.
But I had to let the anger just sit in it. Just sit in it and let God let me. It's okay to be angry. I cried. I would go in the mirror and just cry. And he said, I want you to each and every day, Robin, say, I can move forward. And so it was like, I can move forward was those days that just cry, and you have to take the responsibility of of all the choices we make in our life, even down to that great of a loss. And I was like, oh my goodness, what were, you were trying to tell me I was disconnected. And that's what God was sharing with me. We're living our life sometimes so disconnected and we're just doing things. We're just people who are on an autopilot lifestyle. Like, you go to church on Sunday, you go on Wednesday, you pay your tithes, and that's wonderful. But we get in this autopilot and we feel like autopilotly, but inwardly, we're still so hurt and broken. So he had to bring me back to that little girl. I always talk about I had to heal the little girl within. So the little girl what I mentioned in the beginning was the parents of the child of Prince and Barbara. I had to go to her and say, it's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. And I love you.
Yeah, Robin, you know what, fast forward, because I know a lot of people out there talk about nonprofits and entities and things they want to do. I know when I met you a few years ago in Tennessee, in particular, we were at a conference, right? A women's empowerment conference. And you struck me as being, you were out there and you had this awesome organization. Talk a little about that for your son, on your son's behalf.
I appreciate that. So Willie was a really courageous young man. And basically, when he was killed and shot and killed, I literally wanted to always honor him because he's such a great kid, so smart, so bright. He was really just delightful kid. He was a teenager finding himself as well. So he was angry and frustrated and he made bad choices as well. And I had accepted that. But one of the things Willie always wanted me to be he always wanted me to be happy and project happiness and love and positivity. And he loved people. He loved to empower people. He's similar to his mom. So he was always making people feel good. And I wanted to do something in the honor of families who understanding that we need to create healthier relationships at home. So what Willie's message to me was, because I feel like our children are a teacher to us as well. So Willie taught me that I was angry and I needed to find a place of happiness and be able to express that better. And so the Golden Foundation, what we do at the Golden Foundation is we help families learn how to create healthier, stronger, positive relationships with self and within their families so they could be more effective in the community.
Okay. Okay. And so how long have you been traveling as a motivational speaker?
I started motivational speaking probably in 2000 from Toastmasters. I started over 20 years, like 20 years ago. It's just one of those things that kind of you mentioned from the nail table, that one-on-one was my first thing with people, with women, and listening and hearing and feeling and seeing how much we all have stories that are similar and how we're all having stuff in here and hearts work. And so that evolved into speaking for manufacturers. So I actually joined Toastmaster in 99 or 2000, somewhere in there. And Toastmasters kind of opened up more doors of networking with other great women. My former church pastor, she used to always make sure I did the women's groups and things at church. So I just enjoy inspiring people to live in their truth, in their purpose.
I'm excited to announce to our OPNS platform that, where we're doing this and we're live now and we're talking and you're getting to know Robin F. David firsthand. The blessing is that she's going to join us every Monday. We now have Motivational Mondays, and this young lady is here to be able to motivate our listeners and our viewers to their next best place. Anybody knows OPNS is all about uplifting, motivational, and inspiring, and so I'm just excited to have you, to be able to say, hey, welcome to the team, to be able to do what it is that God has shaped and molded you to do. I'm excited about meeting you here every Monday because it's something, for me, my Mondays are my day that I'm supposed to relax.
Oh,
yeah. But I'm looking forward to this. I'm telling you, this built-in clock is like, hey, lady, you're not laying across the bed, and I can feel it, But I'm looking forward to this because I believe how we start out our week, it shapes and forms the rest of our week.
Okay.
So for me, I have to get rest on Monday because I'm working Tuesday through Sunday, But I am just so looking forward to getting to know you better, to answering those questions. Listen, viewers, she is here to be that voice of reason for you. She is here to answer those questions, those areas where you felt like you've lost it. Listen, my mama don't have the answer, my daddy don't have the answer, and my kids running me crazy. I need some help. Well, to be able to say that, you know what? OPNS is bringing you just that right here every Monday. Robin F. David, our motivational speaker, speaker is the only word that I can say, but you're that guru that is going to tell people, listen, that thing that happened to you, you don't have to die there. You can still live after the issues, after the disruption, after the distractions. So I'm excited that you have chosen to join us because it was your choice. Yay, we're just going to make it fun for you. So as we get ready, say again.
I said, I'm excited.
Me too. Me too. So as we get ready to close here, what would you like to leave our listeners with today? There's always a cliffhanger, right? Those series that we watch is like, wait a minute, I got to tune in next week, same time, same place. So what is it that you want to speak into our listeners and our viewers' life right now to let them know who you are, what you can help them with, and that the choice is theirs to want the help?
course, I'm excited to be here with you all every Monday. So thank you for this opportunity. I'm excited I made this choice to share my story. Now, what I would like to say, you feedback on what you said, how you start your week. And that's what I like to tell the viewers. One of the things I had to learn was how to start my day, like literally how to tune into your day, because that's your gift. And even if you're facing pain today, when you learn how to start your day, it'll help you process through the pain better. And life will throw you some things that are difficult. But I always feel like first thing in the morning when I open my eyes, I had to instantly learn that the breath of life is your gift. So if you have the breath of life when you wake up, then you are set up for an amazing day. But you have to choose that right there when you take that breath in that morning. I'm set up for an amazing day. Now, it could be tears coming down because you have experienced a loss of a job, a loss of a child, loss of a relationship. But if you choose in that first thing in the morning to set up your day, to sit still with God and not always just talking to God, because that's what I used to be, telling him what I needed every day. God, I need this. God, I need this. But learn to sit there and be quiet with God and allow the process of anger, disappointment, allow it to just flow through you, off of you, and choose every breath you take, you are able to say, I can move through the pain. So I would just say, start your day off knowing that if you have breath in your being, then you're set up for an amazing day. So choose amazing day.
Choose an amazing day. Robin F. David, we thank you so much. And to the listening audience, to our OPNS family, we thank you for following us. We count it all on joy. We know that you didn't have to. We know some of you all are working and some of you are doing a lot of amazing things. So stay tuned. Robin F. David, I thank you. Look forward to seeing Robin every Monday, as the Queen has said, on OPNS 97.1. Don't you touch that dial. We'll be right back.
Here we grow, y'all.
Here we grow.
Here we grow.